All right, so let's say you're a real estate agent and you've got this nice little nest egg of cash set aside. You're ready to grow, right? To really pour some fuel on the fire. But where do you pour it? That's the big question. How do you take that money and get the biggest possible return? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down.
I mean, let's be real. Spending money, that's the easy part. There are a ton of services, a million different gurus who are more than happy to take your cash. But spending it wisely, now that's a whole different ballgame. And that's our goal here today. We're going to cut through all that noise and give you a clear, powerful strategy for growth that actually lasts.
So, where do we even start? Well, the challenge really begins with this fundamental problem that every single agent with a bit of cash has to deal with. It's the agent spending dilemma. You've got money to grow, so what's the problem, right? The problem is you're drowning in options. I mean, think about it. Billboards, Facebook ads, mailers, all these lead gen services. The list just goes on, and every single one of them is promising you the moon. They all claim to be the secret to unlocking your next level. So how in the world do you pick the right one without, throwing your entire budget down the drain on something that goes nowhere?
Okay, so with all those choices swirling around, it's super easy to fall into a really common and really expensive trap. And that's where we're going to start. Let's talk about what our source material calls the buyer lead trap. All right, here's the absolute key takeaway from the source material on this. Paying a bunch of money up front for buyer leads, it's usually not a great business move. And you might be asking, why not? Well, it's because listings are the real engine of your business. Think about it. A good listing doesn't just get you one client, the seller. It's a lead-generating machine. It brings in buyer leads for free, and it often helps you get more listings right there in the same neighborhood. Listings are your bread and butter.
When you boil it down, this is all about one thing: risk. When you pay up front, you're basically at the casino. You're putting your money on the table with absolutely no guarantee you'll see a dime back. It's a huge gamble. But a paid-at-closing model? Oh, that's a whole different story. It's a fantastic idea because the risk is practically zero. You only pay when you get paid. Simple as that. Okay, so if we're saying no to paying a ton upfront for buyer leads, where do you put that money? Well, the source gives us a few much smarter alternatives. First, you could look into those paid-at-closing referral providers, companies like Clever or Homelight. Another great option is using platforms that specifically help you target FSBOs and expired listings. Or, here's a creative one, partner up with your favorite lender or title company and split the marketing costs. All of these are way lower risk.
But look, those are good, lower-risk alternatives. What if you want to do more than just play it safe? What if you want to be proactive and build a truly powerful, scalable engine for your business? Well, that brings us to the core idea from our source material. They call it the home run strategy.
So what exactly is the home run strategy? It's actually a beautifully simple and kind of counterintuitive idea. Here it is. You're going to target that huge, massive ocean of people who are online looking to buy a home. But, and this is the key, your message isn't for them as buyers. It's for them as future sellers of the home they're in right now. You're fishing for sellers in a pond that's absolutely packed with buyers. And here's why that works so brilliantly. Think about it. People don't just wake up one morning and say, I'm selling my house today. No way. The journey almost always starts with them looking around. They're on Zillow, they're browsing listings, they're trying to figure out where they want to move next. Their brain is in buyer mode first. And that is the golden moment when you can get in front of them.
And the reason this strategy is so powerful really just comes down to the numbers. I mean, look at this. The number of people online searching for homes to buy absolutely dwarfs the number of people who are actively searching for an agent to sell their home. It's not even close. So by targeting that buyer pool, you're tapping into this just massive ocean of potential clients. All right, so you get the what and the why. The idea makes sense. Now for the important part, how do you actually do it? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of executing the home run. So, the technical setup has a few really critical pieces. Step 1, your content. It can't be just okay. It has to be high quality, it has to be compelling. Step 2, you need a system, an automation that pushes any leads you get straight into your CRM. No letting things fall through the cracks. And step 3, and listen, this one is absolutely vital. Your targeting has to be laser-focused on your specific local area. Okay, let's talk about the budget. How much does this actually cost? To make this strategy work, the source recommends a minimum daily ad budget of $50.
And that $50 is kind of the sweet spot. It's enough firepower to actually reach a good number of people and start getting some useful data back, but it's not so much that it's going to break the bank. And I got to give you a really important reality check here. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not a magic bullet. You can't just run this for a week and expect your phone to start ringing off the hook. It doesn't work like that. You have to think of this as a long-term strategy. You've got a budget for at least 4 to 5 months, consistently, to really start seeing those results stack up.
So what are you actually putting in these ads? Here's a huge tip. Avoid the temptation to make it all about you. I'm the #1 agent. Look at my awards. So many agents do that. Instead, the source says you need to lead with your value proposition. What's in it for them? Something like, I can help you save thousands, or get full service for a better commission. That's the hook. That value, plus your personality, that's the winning combo.
Now, a quick word of warning here, because this is important. The technical side of setting up these ads can be really tricky. I mean, one tiny mistake, targeting the wrong zip code, clicking the wrong interest box, could mean your ad is being shown to people 1,000 miles away. And poof, your entire budget is wasted. Because it's so complex, you might seriously want to consider hiring a social media manager to make sure it's set up and run the right way. All right, so that's the targeted digital home run strategy. But what about everything else? What about all those other more traditional ways you see agents spending their marketing dollars? Let's take a look at what's beyond the digital ad.
I mean, the list is practically endless, right? You've got billboards looming over the highway, your face on a shopping cart, sponsoring the local Little League team, sending out thousands of mailers. Heck, I've even heard of agents sponsoring an ice cream truck to drive through a neighborhood. And yeah, that stuff can be creative. It can be fun. But there's a pretty big catch.
And here's the fundamental issue with all of those methods. They're basically the opposite of targeted. They're a shotgun blast. And the source puts it really bluntly, saying that with these methods, almost all of your money will be wasted on people who are not interested in doing a real estate transaction in the near future. Ouch. But it's true.
Now, to be fair, there is a counterargument. The source acknowledges that some people will say this stuff is good for general branding, just getting your name out there. And you know what? They're not totally wrong. But if your main goal is getting actual leads, tangible results, and the best possible return on your investment, that targeted digital approach we talked about is going to win pretty much every time.
So, this all leaves us with one last big question that you need to ask yourself. When you look at that marketing budget, that nest egg you've saved up, what's it really for? Is your marketing budget built for that slow, expensive game of general branding? Or is it built for a home run?